The whisper came at 33,000 feet. "Sir, you're not going to Orlando." I thought this was a surprise birthday trip. My daughter booked the flight. My son confirmed the rental car. But when the flight attendant showed me the boarding pass code, SNF RVR, Senior Nursing Facility, Riverside, and I checked my voicemail, I heard a message from Riverside Senior Living confirming my voluntary long-term admission in 4 hours. I wasn't going on vacation. I was being committed. I didn't shout. I didn't panic. I stood up, grabbed my carry-on, and said 4 words to the flight attendant. "I'm getting off now." If you're watching this, please subscribe and let me know where you are watching from. My name is Lawrence Brennan. I'm 71 years old, and I had 2 minutes to decide whether to believe a stranger or my own children, to understand why my own son and daughter tried to lock me away, and how a card I've carried for 25 years cost them $3 million in 3 days. I need to take you back 4 weeks, to the afternoon my daughter showed up at my house with a camera and a fake smile. October 25th, 3 p.m. My doorbell rang. Allison stood on my porch holding 2 coffee cups. "Brought your favorite, Pops," she said, using the nickname I've told her a dozen times I don't like. I'm her dad, not Pops. But I smiled, took the coffee, let her in. She sat at my kitchen table, the same one where I'd taught her to do homework 30 years ago. She asked questions. Too many questions. "Have you been taking your medications? Eating enough? Sleeping okay?" I set my coffee down. "I'm fine, honey. Same as last week. I just worry, since Mom..." She trailed off, eyes welling up. I softened. Janet had been gone 3 years and 9 months. The grief still hit me sometimes like a freight train, but I was managing. Therapy once a month, golf twice a week, volunteers at the Veterans Hall. I wasn't falling apart, but I noticed something. While I got up to refill her coffee, Allison took out her phone, snapped photos of my desk, my checkbook, the stack of mail, the calendar on the wall. "Just admiring the grandkids' drawings," she said when I came back. I didn't challenge her. Maybe I should have. I found out later, from someone I never expected, that she sent those photos to an estate attorney. The message said, "Evidence of disorganization. Can we use this?" 5 days later, October 30th, I had my annual cardiology checkup with Dr. Greenfield. I'd written down 10 a.m. on my calendar. The appointment was actually 9 a.m. I arrived at 9:45. The receptionist was kind about it, rescheduled me for 2 p.m. that same day. No harm done. But I'd mentioned the appointment to Trevor, my son, the week before. Casual conversation. He called me that afternoon. "Dad, did you make it to your doctor?" "Yeah, I got the time mixed up, but they fit me in later. All good." Silence on the other end. Then, "Dad, are you sure you're okay? Forgetting appointments isn't like you." I didn't forget it. I wrote down the wrong time. It happens. "Right? Okay, just checking." He hung up fast. What I didn't know, what I wouldn't learn until 2 weeks later, was that Trevor told Allison within minutes. Dad missed his doctor appointment. Didn't even remember the right time. And Allison told the intake coordinator at Riverside Senior Living, "My father's memory is declining. He can't manage medical appointments independently. One mistake, one mixed up time slot. That's all it took for them to build a case." November 2nd, I was making chili in my kitchen. I'd made it 100 times. I went to the garage to grab a beer from the spare fridge. Took maybe 6 minutes. Forgot the stove was on low heat. The smoke alarm beeped. I rushed back. Turned off the burner. The chili was slightly burned on the bottom. No fire, no damage, just a burned dinner and a lesson to stay focused. Trevor called right when the alarm went off. Bad timing. "Dad, what's that noise? Is something burning?" I laughed it off. "I just burned the chili a bit. I'm fine." "Dad, that's dangerous. What if you'd left the house?" "But I didn't. I was in the garage for 5 minutes." "Dad, you need to be more careful." "I'm careful. It was one mistake." He sighed. That long, disappointed sigh that made me feel like a child being scolded. 10 minutes after we hung up, he texted Allison. I didn't see this text until much later, but I'll tell you what it said. "He left the stove on unattended. This is getting bad. We need to move faster. And what I didn't know yet, what I couldn't have imagined, was that there was a group chat. Trevor and Allison had been talking about me for weeks. October 15th. Trevor. Old man sitting on 3M doing nothing. We're drowning. October 22nd. Allison. We frame it as concern. Get a psyche val. Doesn't even have to meet him. November 3rd. Trevor. Once he's in Riverside, we liquidate everything. He won't even realize what happened. November 5th. Allison. Dad's too proud to fight us in court. And who'd believe a grieving widower over 2 successful kids? I didn't see these messages until a week before my flight. The person who showed them to me wasn't Trevor, wasn't Allison. It was Emily, Trevor's ex-wife, and what she told me that night changed everything. Let me tell you what they were really after. Brennan Industrial Fabrication. I started it in 1985 with 3 employees and a loan I could barely afford. By the time I sold it last August, we had 85 people on payroll. The sale closed August 15th, 2024. $3.2 million cash. After taxes, $2.8 million net. My house. 3-bedroom ranch in Fort Worth. Bought it in 1987 for $89,000. Janet and I raised our kids there. Paid it off in 2018. It's worth $1.2 million now. Life insurance. $800,000 policy. Janet made me get it back in 2015. Said she wanted to make sure the kids were taken care of if anything happened to me. Trevor and Allison are named as beneficiaries. Savings and CDs. $380,000 liquid. And a rental property Trevor's been living in for 14 months. Rent-free. It's worth $290,000. Add it all up, roughly $5.2 million gross. After debts and taxes, about $4.6 million net. I didn't build that wealth to hand it over. I built it so I could retire with dignity, play golf, volunteer with younger vets who need help navigating the VA system, maybe leave my grandkids, Caleb and Dylan, something for college one day, not to fund my son's gambling addiction, not to bail out my daughter's failed real estate project. Here's what would have happened if I'd stayed on that plane. Riverside Senior Living's long-term memory care unit. That's code for a locked facility. Restricted phone access. Medication management. Staff deciding when you eat, when you sleep, when you're allowed to see visitors. My father died in a VA nursing home in 1998. Korean War vet. They put him in there after a stroke. He gave up after 8 months. Stopped eating. Just faded away. I swore at his funeral I'd never let anyone warehouse me like that. But if Trevor and Allison had succeeded, that's exactly where I'd be. Locked in a building in San Antonio, watching Judge Judy reruns, waiting to die. And here's what I'd lose. My grandkids. Caleb's 11, Dylan's 9. Last summer, I taught them basic welding in my garage. Caleb's building a bookshelf for a school project with my help. We're halfway done. If I'd been declared incompetent, Trevor, as power of attorney holder, would have controlled all visitation, and he'd already started poisoning them against me. Told them, Grandpa's sick in the head now. The Veterans Hall. I volunteer 3 days a week helping younger vets with VA paperwork. That community is my lifeline. If I'd suddenly disappeared, they'd believe the story Trevor and Allison were selling. Poor Larry lost his mind after Janet died. My church. First Methodist, 35 years. The men's group meets every Thursday morning. I bring the donuts. If I'd vanished into a nursing home, that would have been the proof. See, he really was declining. What Trevor and Allison actually needed the money for, I found this out later, was worse than I'd imagined. Allison? She'd lost $680,000 on a failed strip mall development called Meadowbrook Commons. $420,000 of that was investor money. 6 people were threatening fraud charges. Her marriage was on the brink. Her husband Nathan was threatening divorce. Trevor? He'd lost $340,000 in sports gambling over 18 months. DraftKings, FanDuel, offshore betting sites. He owed a bookie $85,000. Due December 1st. The kind of bookie who doesn't send polite reminder emails. He was $19,000 behind on child support, and I just found out he was about to be evicted from my rental property. They didn't see me as their father. They saw me as a solution to their problems, and I had maybe 72 hours before I lost everything. November 18th, Dallas-Fort Worth Airport, Terminal A, 9:35 a.m. I handed my boarding pass to the TSA agent. He scanned it, frowned. "Sir, this code's unusual. You flying medical transport?" "No," I said. "Just a regular flight to Orlando. Birthday trip." He looked at his screen again. "Says here SNF designation. That's senior nursing facility." My stomach dropped. "That's wrong. My daughter booked it. Must be a system error." He shrugged. "Happens sometimes. Gate'll sort it out." I should have turned around right then, but I told myself it was a computer glitch, a mistake. I didn't want to believe what my gut was screaming. 9:48 a.m. My phone buzzed. "Trevor. Dad, you through security yet? Need to confirm arrival time." 9:51 a.m. Me. "Just cleared. Flight board's at 10:35. Why do you need arrival time?" 9:53 a.m. Trevor. "Rental car company needs it. Just text me when you board." That felt off. Why would a rental car company need to know the exact minute I boarded? 10:05 a.m. Allison. "Pops, did you take your blood pressure meds this morning?" I stared at my phone. I don't take blood pressure meds. She knows that. 10:07 a.m. Me. "I don't take blood pressure meds. You know that." 10:09 a.m. Allison. "Right, sorry, travel safe, love you." 10:15 a.m. Trevor. "Stay by the gate, don't wander off." I'm 71, not 7. Why would I wander off? Gate B22, 10:38 a.m. The gate agent called Group 1. I was in Group 3. I waited. When my turn came, I handed her my boarding pass. She scanned it. The printer jammed, beeped twice. She squinted at her screen. "Mr. Brennan, it says here you requested wheelchair escort to facility." "I didn't request anything," I said. "I'm walking just fine. Let me call my supervisor. I'm boarding. There's clearly been a mix-up." She hesitated, then nodded. "Sir, please board, but I need to note this discrepancy." I walked down the jetway. My phone buzzed again. 12 missed calls, 6 from Trevor, 6 from Allison, and a voicemail notification from a number I didn't recognize. My hands started shaking. I found my seat. 14C, right side, middle of the plane. A flight attendant greeted me as I sat down. Her name tag said Grace Holloway. "Welcome aboard, Mr. Brennan," she said, handing me a water cup. I nodded, tried to smile. She walked away, then came back a minute later, leaned in close. Her voice was barely audible. "Sir, I shouldn't tell you this, but I need to." I looked up at her. "What's wrong?" "Your boarding pass has a facility code, SNF RVR, Riverside Senior living in San Antonio." The words hit me like a punch. "That's impossible. I'm going to Orlando." She handed me my boarding pass, pointed to the barcode at the bottom. Small letters. RVR SNF. "The manifest says Orlando," she said quietly, "but your boarding code was changed. Someone rerouted you." I couldn't breathe. Grace's eyes were kind, sad. "I saw this happen to my mother. Family changed her flight. She ended up locked in a place for 2 years before she died. If you don't want to go, you have about 90 seconds before we close the cabin door." I pulled up my voicemail. Hit play. Automated voice. "Hello, Mr. Brennan. This is Riverside Senior Living confirming your admission today, November 18th at 2:30 p.m. We've received your deposit and intake paperwork from your daughter, Allison Hayes. Our team is excited to welcome you to our long-term memory care community. Please bring your insurance cards and a list of current medications. If you have questions, call us at 210-555-0638. Long-term memory care. Locked unit. Allison had already paid the deposit. Grace was watching me, waiting. "Sir," she said softly, "do you want to be on this plane?" My voice came out steady, calmer than I felt. "No, I need to get off, right now." I stood up. My carry-on felt like it weighed 100 pounds. Grace nodded toward the door. That's when I saw him. Through the small window in the cabin door, standing at the gate, Trevor. Not at some pickup location in Orlando like he'd said. Here, waiting, and he looked like a man whose plan was about to fall apart. I grabbed my bag from the overhead bin. My wallet fell out of my jacket pocket. A laminated card slid across the floor. Faded blue edges. Creased from 25 years in my wallet. I picked it up. Brennan Irrevocable Trust. Emergency activation. Hotline 214-550891. Below that, in case of coercion, incapacity claim, or family legal action, call immediately. Attorney Gerald Hutchinson holds durable POA and full trust authority. I was 46 years old when I had that card made. 1999, sitting in my kitchen with Gerald Hutchinson, an attorney I'd met through the Veterans Hall. My younger brother had just tried to steal half my business. Said he was entitled to partnership because family should share. He'd forged documents, filed a lawsuit, cost me $35,000 in legal fees to fight him off. Gerald told me, "Your brother tried to steal your business. This trust means no one, family included, can touch your assets without triggering protections." I remember asking him, "You think I'm paranoid?" He'd smiled. "I think you're smart. Carry this card. Hope you never need it." I've carried it through Janet's death, through selling the business, through everything. I thought I'd never dial that number. I was wrong. 1 week earlier, November 12th, 7:30 p.m., my doorbell rang. Emily stood on my porch. Trevor's ex-wife, crying, holding an envelope. "Larry, I need to show you something. Trevor doesn't know I'm here." She handed me printouts, text messages between Trevor and Allison. November 3rd, Trevor. "Once he's in Riverside, we move fast. Liquidate the house, the stocks, everything." November 5th, Allison. "I already got the eval from that retired doctor in Oregon. 12 grand, no questions." Emily was sobbing. "They're going to lock you up, Larry. Trevor forged my name on a loan last year. He'll do it to you too." I took her hand. "Why are you telling me this?" "Because you paid off my student loans when I married Trevor. $32,000. You were the only one who ever treated me like family. I won't let them destroy you." I hugged her. Didn't say much, but my jaw set. That's when I started recording every conversation. Texas is a one-party consent state. I knew I'd need proof. I bought a digital recorder on Amazon for $68. November 13th. It arrived the next day. Over the past week, I'd recorded 8 conversations. 47 minutes total. The most damning one? Trevor talking to Allison in my garage. November 15th. "Once the old man's locked up, we'll have full access. He won't even know what hit him." I had every word, every lie, every plan. They had no idea. I looked at the card in my hand, looked at Grace, the flight attendant, waiting by the door. I had the trust. I had the recordings. What I didn't have was time. The cabin door was closing in 45 seconds, and my son was standing at that gate like a prison guard. If I didn't move right then, I'd wake up in a locked room in San Antonio, and it would take months, maybe years, to prove I didn't belong there. I put the card back in my wallet, and I walked toward the door. Grace opened the cabin door. The jetway was empty except for the gate agent staring at her computer screen. I stepped out, and there he was, Trevor, standing 20 feet away, arms crossed, expensive suit, AirPods in his ears. He looked up when he heard the door. His face went pale. "Dad, what are you doing? You'll miss your flight." I kept walking, didn't run, didn't rush, just walked. I know where this flight was really going. Trevor moved toward me, blocking my path. "You're confused. It's Orlando for your birthday." I pulled out my phone, hit play on the voicemail, volume up. "Hello, Mr. Brennan. This is Riverside Senior Living confirming your admission today, November 18th at 2:30 p.m. Trevor's face changed. Panic, then calculation. "Okay, yes," he said, hands up like he was calming a child. "It's a recovery facility. Your doctor recommended it after your episode." "What episode?" I said. "I haven't had an episode." "Dad, you left the stove on. You forgot your doctor appointment. You're not thinking clearly since Mom died. I'm thinking clearly enough to know when I'm being committed against my will." The gate agent looked up from her screen. A few passengers in the waiting area were staring now. Trevor raised his voice, performing for the audience. "Dad, please. We love you. This is for your safety." I stayed calm. "By lying about my destination?" "We knew you'd resist. You're grieving. You're not yourself. I'm myself enough to know you forged documents." Trevor's jaw tightened. He pulled a folded paper from his jacket. We have power of attorney. We're legally responsible for you. He unfolded it, held it up. My signature. Dated October 8th, 2024. I looked at it. Looked at him. Show me that date again, he pointed. October 8th. You signed it. I was in Phoenix on October 8th, playing golf with my buddy Ron. I have receipts, photos, time-stamped. Trevor blinked. You're misremembering. That's a felony, Trevor. Forgery. The gate agent picked up her phone. I'm calling security. Trevor turned to her. Ma'am, my father's confused. He's not well. We're trying to help him. I'm not confused, I said, calm, firm. I'm being defrauded. 2 minutes later, an airport police officer arrived. Badge said Mitchell, mid-30s, calm demeanor. What's going on here? Trevor jumped in first. Officer, my father's supposed to be on this flight. He's having an episode. We've arranged care for him in Florida. San Antonio, I corrected, not Florida. Riverside Senior Living, a locked memory care facility I never consented to. Officer Mitchell looked at me. Sir, can you show me your boarding pass? I handed it to him, pointed to the code. SNF-RVR, Senior Nursing Facility. My daughter booked this without my knowledge. Mitchell examined it, looked at Trevor. Is this accurate? Trevor hesitated. It's a recovery facility. For his own good. Did he consent? He's not capable of making that decision right now. I'm standing right here, I said. And I'm fully capable. I'm a 71-year-old Marine Corps veteran with no cognitive impairment. My cardiologist cleared me for travel 3 weeks ago. And this man forged my signature on a power of attorney. Mitchell's expression shifted. Sir, do you feel you're in danger? I feel I'm being exploited. That's when Allison arrived, sprinting from the Starbucks down the terminal, designer bag bouncing on her shoulder, out of breath. Daddy, please don't do this. We're trying to help. She looked at Officer Mitchell, tears forming. My father hasn't been himself since my mother died. He's forgetting things. We're just trying to keep him safe. I looked at her, my daughter, the little girl I'd taught to ride a bike, paid her college tuition, walked her down the aisle. Allison, I said quietly, you forged my signature to use my house as loan collateral. June 2024, Meadowbrook Commons Development. I have the documents Emily gave me. Her face went white. And you paid Riverside $200 on November 1st, I continued, from your American Express card. For long-term care, I never requested. I was just trying to arrange a place in case you needed it. Without asking me? She had no answer. Officer Mitchell stepped between us. Ma'am, sir, I need you both to step back. He turned to me. Mr. Brennan, do you have proof of what you're saying? I reached into my jacket, pulled out the digital recorder, set it on the gate counter. 47 minutes of recorded conversations, I said. Texas is a one-party consent state. This is legal evidence. I hit play. Trevor's voice clear as day. Once the old man's locked up, we'll have full access. He won't even know what hit him. The gate agent gasped. Mitchell's expression hardened. Trevor lunged for the recorder. That's illegal. You can't. Mitchell stepped in front of him. Sir, do not touch that evidence. I pulled out my wallet, found the faded blue card. I need to make a phone call, I said. Mitchell nodded. Go ahead. I dialed the number I'd carried for 25 years. 214-555-0891. It rang twice. Gerald Hutchinson, attorney at law. Gerald, I said. It's Larry Brennan. This is the emergency line. I'm activating the trust. Silence for 2 seconds. Then, confirmed. What's the situation? Coercion. Family attempted involuntary commitment with forged documents. Airport police are present. Are you under duress now? No, I'm safe. Understood. I'm activating the trust provisions as of... He paused, checking his watch. 11:18 a.m., November 18th, 2025. Your children's inheritance is hereby voided per the coercion clause. Do not sign anything. Do not agree to anything. I'll be there in 35 minutes. Trevor heard every word. His face crumpled. Dad, you can't... I ended the call, looked at him. I just did. An Officer Mitchell asked us to move to a private conference room near the gate. Gate B-22's family assistance room, 4 chairs, a table, fluorescent lights humming overhead. Trevor and Allison sat on one side. I sat on the other. Mitchell stood by the door. Allison was crying. Trevor was silent, staring at his hands. Someone want to explain what's happening here? Mitchell said. I spoke first. Calm, factual. In 1999, after my younger brother tried to steal my business through forged documents, I created an irrevocable trust with my attorney, Gerald Hutchinson. All my assets, my business, my house, my savings, were transferred into that trust. I'm the lifetime beneficiary. My children were named as contingent beneficiaries upon my death. I pulled out the laminated card, set it on the table. The trust includes a coercion clause. If anyone attempts to claim I'm incompetent, forge my signature, or coerce me into medical commitment, the trust automatically triggers. Their inheritance is revoked. The assets are redistributed to charities and my grandchildren's education funds. Trevor's head snapped up. You can't do that. I already did, 25 years ago. Allison wiped her eyes. Daddy, please, we can fix this. We'll tear up the PO. You can't unforge a signature, Allison. Mitchell pulled out a notepad. Mr. Brennan, you said you have evidence of forgery? I nodded, pulled out the folded POA Trevor had shown me earlier. This document is dated October 8th, 2024. I was in Phoenix that entire week. Golf trip with my friend Ron Patterson. I have credit card receipts from the resort, photos time-stamped October 7th through October 10th, and text messages with Ron confirming our tea times. I slid the document across the table. The notary stamp is from a UPS store on Maple Avenue in Fort Worth. I've never been to that location. I suspect Trevor paid someone to notarize it without me present, which is also illegal. Mitchell made notes. And the boarding pass issue? My daughter Allison booked this flight. She told me it was a surprise birthday trip to Orlando. The boarding pass manifest says Orlando, but the facility code, SNF-RVR, routes to Riverside Senior Living in San Antonio. That's not a vacation. That's a locked memory care facility. I pulled up my phone, played the voicemail again. This message was left on my phone November 17th, confirming my voluntary admission today at 2:30 p.m. I never consented. I never spoke to anyone at Riverside. Mitchell turned to Allison. Ma'am, did you book this flight? Allison's voice was barely a whisper. Yes. And did you contact Riverside Senior Living? She nodded. When? November 1st. I paid the deposit. $5,200. Why? She looked at me, fresh tears. Because I thought it was the right thing. You've been so sad since Mom died. You forget things. You left the stove on. I burned chili once, I said. That's not dementia, Allison. That's being human. Mitchell's radio crackled. Officer Mitchell, your follow-up is here. The door opened. Gerald Hutchinson walked in. 68 years old, gray suit, leather briefcase, the same calm, methodical presence I'd known for 25 years. He nodded at Mitchell, then looked at me. Larry, are you all right? I'm fine, Gerald. He set his briefcase on the table, opened it, pulled out a thick binder. Officer, I'm Gerald Hutchinson, attorney at law. I hold durable power of attorney for Lawrence Brennan, granted in 1999 and updated annually. This supersedes any document created after that date. He slid a notarized POA across the table. Dated June 14th, 1999. My signature. His signature. Witness signatures. Mitchell examined it. Nodded. Gerald continued. The Brennan Irrevocable Trust was created to protect Mr. Brennan's assets from exploitation. The trust document, 51 pages, includes specific clauses addressing coercion, forgery, and attempted incapacity claims. He turned to page 23. Highlighted text. Section 9, subsection C. In the event of attempted exploitation, fraud, or coercion by named beneficiaries, their interest in the trust shall be immediately and irrevocably revoked. Distribution shall proceed per Schedule B. Charitable organizations and minor grandchildren's education trusts. Trevor stood up. That's insane. You can't just cut us out. Gerald didn't look at him. The trust is irrevocable, Mr. Brennan. It was activated at 11:18 a.m. today when your father called the emergency line. The mechanism is automatic. There's no reversal process. We're his children. You're also adults who forged his signature and attempted to commit him to a facility against his will. The trust was designed for exactly this scenario. Allison was sobbing now. Daddy, please, we'll confess. We'll apologize. Anything. I looked at her, really looked at her. Allison, you used my house as collateral without asking me. You paid a nursing home to lock me up. You hired a fake psychiatrist to write an evaluation saying I was incompetent. Her face crumpled. Trevor, I said, turning to my son, you forged my name. You told your sons I'm sick in the head. You planned to liquidate my entire estate while I was locked in a building. He wouldn't meet my eyes. This isn't about punishment, I said quietly. This is about survival. You both stopped seeing me as your father. You started seeing me as a problem, an obstacle, a bank account. Gerald closed the binder. Officer Mitchell, I'd like to provide you with copies of the trust documents for your report. I'd also like to recommend Mr. Brennan file formal charges for forgery, fraud, and attempted false imprisonment. Mitchell nodded. I'll document everything, Mr. Brennan. It's your choice whether to press charges. I took a breath. Not yet, I said. I need to talk to my grandkids first. They didn't do anything wrong. They don't deserve to find out their father's a felon from the evening news. Mitchell handed me his card. Call me when you're ready. Gerald packed his briefcase. Larry, the trust provisions are now in effect. Your children will each receive $25,000, the statutory minimum required by Texas law. The remaining $4.5 million will be distributed as follows. $800,000 to educational trusts for Caleb and Dylan, accessible at age 18. $1.2 million to the Veterans Affairs Support Fund. $1.1 million to cancer research in Janet's name. $800,000 to elder abuse prevention charities. $600,000 to 3 additional organizations per your 1999 directive. He looked at Trevor and Allison. You'll receive letters from my office within 72 hours. If you contest this, you'll lose. The trust has been upheld in Texas courts for 25 years. There is no legal avenue for reversal. Trevor finally spoke. His voice was hollow. You're really doing this. You did this, I said. I just refused to let you get away with it. Grace Holloway, the flight attendant, appeared in the doorway. She'd been waiting outside. Mitchell waved her in. Ma'am, you're the Delta employee who alerted Mr. Brennan? Yes, sir, Grace said. She looked at me. I saw the facility code on his boarding pass. My mother went through something similar. I couldn't stay silent. Mitchell made a note. I'll need a written statement from you. Of course. She turned to me, tears in her eyes. I'm glad you got off that plane, Mr. Brennan. Thank you, I said. You saved my life. Gerald gathered his documents. Larry, you'll need to come to my office tomorrow. We have paperwork to finalize. In the meantime, do not communicate with Trevor or Allison without me present. Understood. He shook my hand, looked at my children one last time. For what it's worth, he said quietly, your father is one of the most decent men I've ever known. He built everything from nothing, paid your way through college, never asked you for a dime, and you repaid him with forgery and betrayal. He picked up his briefcase. You'll live with that longer than he will. And he walked out. Officer Mitchell stood. Mr. Brennan, I'm going to escort you to the main terminal. Your children will remain here until you've left the area. If you feel unsafe at any point, call 911. I will. I stood, picked up my carry-on. Allison grabbed my arm. Daddy, please. I gently removed her hand. I need space, Allison. Don't contact me. For how long? I don't know. Trevor didn't say anything, just sat there, staring at the table. I walked to the door, stopped, turned back. I loved you both, I said. I still do, but love doesn't mean letting you destroy me. And I left. November 18th, 4:30 p.m. I sat in Gerald's office on Commerce Street. He'd driven me from the airport, insisted I not go home alone. First things first, he said. We file a police report, not just with airport police, with Fort Worth PD, forgery, fraud, attempted false imprisonment. I nodded. Second, I'm filing an emergency motion in probate court to certify the trust activation. We need a judge's signature within 48 hours. Will we get it? Larry, you have recordings. You have forged documents. You have witness statements. Yes, we'll get it. November 19th, Day 2, Gerald called me at 9 a.m. The motion's been filed. Judge Hendricks will hear it tomorrow morning. What about Trevor and Allison? I sent them both certified letters. They have 30 days to respond if they want to contest. But I've made it clear. Contesting will trigger criminal prosecution. They'll spend more on legal fees than the $25,000 they're getting. I stared out my kitchen window. The same window where I'd watched my kids play in the backyard 35 years ago. Gerald, how did it come to this? He was quiet for a moment. I don't know, Larry, but I'm glad you were prepared. That afternoon, my phone rang. Unknown number. Mr. Brennan, this is Veronica Castle, property manager for your rental unit on Westwood Drive. Yes? I saw the police report. It's public record. I wanted to ask, Trevor's lease expires December 1st. Do you want me to proceed with standard 30-day notice? I thought about it. Yes, follow normal procedures, no special treatment. He's 2 months behind on rent anyway. I can start eviction if you prefer. No, just the standard notice. He has until January 1st to move out. Understood. An hour later, another call. This one from a real estate broker named Diane Kowalski. Mr. Brennan, I'm calling about a very awkward situation. Your daughter Allison listed your house on our internal network last week. She said you'd signed a listing agreement. I'm pulling it immediately. My stomach turned. She listed my house? Yes, sir. I'm so sorry. I didn't realize it was fraudulent until I saw the news coverage. News coverage? The airport incident. It's on the local news. Channel 8. I hung up, turned on the TV. There it was. Local veteran stops mid-flight after family allegedly tries to commit him to nursing home. Tom Gallagher's byline. My old Marine buddy from Vietnam. He'd written the story for the Dallas Morning Herald. The article was fair, factual, named no names, but it was getting traction. 8.2 million views online in 36 hours. November 20th, day 3. Gerald called at 7 a.m. Judge Hendricks certified the trust activation. It's official. Your children are disinherited except for the statutory minimum. What about criminal charges? The DA's office contacted me. They're reviewing the evidence. They want to know if you'll cooperate. I thought about Caleb and Dylan, my grandsons, ages 11 and 9. Tell them I need one day, I said. I need to talk to the boys first. I'll let them know. That afternoon I called Emily, Trevor's ex-wife, the woman who'd given me the evidence that saved my life. Emily, I need to see Caleb and Dylan before this gets worse. Of course, she said. Come over tonight. I'll make sure Trevor's not here. 6 p.m., Emily's house in Arlington. The boys were in the living room playing video games when I arrived. Grandpa! Caleb jumped up, hugged me. Dylan followed. Are you okay? Dad said you were sick. I sat down on the couch, patted the cushions next to me. They sat. Guys, I need to tell you something. Grown-up stuff. But you're old enough to understand. They looked at me with Janet's eyes. Serious, attentive. Your dad made some big mistakes. Legal mistakes. He's going to have consequences. But I want you to know, you didn't do anything wrong. And I love you. That will never change. Caleb frowned. What kind of mistakes? He tried to take something from me that wasn't his, and he lied about it. Are you mad at him? I'm sad, I said, and disappointed, but not at you. Dylan leaned against me. Are we still going to finish the bookshelf? I put my arm around him. Absolutely. Every Thursday after school. Same as always. Later that night, Emily walked me to my truck. Thank you, she said, for being honest with them. They deserved honesty. She handed me another envelope. More evidence. Trevor's bank statements from the past 2 years. Gambling losses, loan shark payments, everything. Emily, you didn't have to... Yes, I did? He forged my name, Larry. He destroyed our family. I want him to face consequences. I took the envelope. I'm filing charges tomorrow. She nodded. Good. November 20th, 9 p.m. I called Officer Mitchell. Officer, this is Lawrence Brennan. I'm ready to press charges. I'll contact the DA first thing tomorrow morning. Thank you. Mr. Brennan, For what it's worth, you did the right thing. Most people don't have the courage to hold their own kids accountable. I didn't have a choice. Yes, you did. And you made the hard one. December 3rd, 2 weeks later, the DA's office filed charges: felony forgery against Trevor, fraud against Allison, conspiracy charges against both. Trevor hired a lawyer. Allison hired a different lawyer. They were no longer coordinating. Their attorneys contacted Gerald separately. Both wanted to plead. February 14th, 2026, 3 months later, Trevor pleaded guilty to felony forgery, sentenced to 18 months probation, $15,000 restitution to me, and 200 hours of community service. Allison pleaded no contest to fraud, 2 years probation, 250 hours of community service, and her real estate license was suspended for 1 year. Both were ordered to attend financial counseling. I attended the sentencing, sat in the back of the courtroom, said nothing. Judge Hendricks asked if I wanted to make a statement. I declined. What was there to say? The $25,000 checks Gerald sent them? Trevor cashed his after 4 months. Allison never cashed hers. Riverside Senior Living refunded the $5,200 deposit, sent it directly to Gerald's office. He forwarded it to me. I donated it to an elder abuse prevention charity. The trust distributions went through. $800,000 to Caleb and Dylan's education trusts, managed by Emily, accessible when they turn 18. $1.2 million to the Veterans Affairs Support Fund, $1.1 million to the American Cancer Society in Janet's name, $800,000 to the National Center on Elder Abuse, $600,000 to 3 other charities Janet and I had supported over the years. March 2026. I got a letter, handwritten, Allison's handwriting. Dad, I'm sorry. I know you won't forgive me, but I need you to know I'm ashamed. I spent 20 years building a life I thought mattered. A big house, a successful career, the right friends, and I threw away the one thing that actually mattered. You. I don't know how to fix this. Maybe I can't, but I wanted you to know. Love, Allison. I read it 3 times. Folded it, put it in a drawer. I didn't reply. Trevor never wrote, never called. Emily told me he'd filed for bankruptcy in April. Lost everything. She got full custody of the boys in May. I see Caleb and Dylan every other weekend now. We finished the bookshelf, started building a treehouse. They don't ask about their father much anymore. It's been 11 months now. November 2026. Trevor and Allison haven't spoken to me. I haven't spoken to them. Emily brings the boys over every other Saturday. We work on projects in the garage. Last month, we built a wooden toolbox for Caleb's woodworking class. Dylan's learning to weld. Small projects. Careful supervision. They're good kids. The church community found out. Not from me. The news coverage made it unavoidable. First Methodist, where I've attended for 35 years, responded in a way I didn't expect. The men's group, my Thursday morning group, pulled me aside one week in December. Pastor Jim was there. Larry, he said, we wanted you to know, you're not alone in this. Turns out 3 other men in that group had similar stories. Not as extreme, but close. One man's daughter had tried to get him declared incompetent after his wife died. Another man's son had stolen $40,000 from his savings. A third had his daughter forge his name on a home equity loan. We started meeting separately, informally, every Tuesday evening. Elder Rights Coffee Hour, we called it. Just a group of older men talking about boundaries, legal protections, and how to recognize exploitation before it's too late. 12 regulars now. The Dallas Morning Herald story went national in January. NPR picked it up, then USA Today. I got interview requests. 60 Minutes, Dr. Phil, Good Morning America. I declined them all. This isn't entertainment. This is my life. But I did agree to speak at the Veterans Hall in March, a workshop on elder abuse prevention. 85 people showed up. I brought copies of my trust documents, explained how they worked, gave them Gerald's contact information. 14 people set up appointments with him that week. Allison's real estate career never recovered. The license suspension ended in March, but most brokerages wouldn't hire her. Too much bad publicity. She moved to Houston in June, works as a property manager now. Smaller job, smaller life. Her husband Nathan filed for divorce in April. The marriage couldn't survive the scandal. She lives alone. Trevor's bookie, the one he owed $85,000, never came after him, probably because the story went public. Drawing attention to an illegal gambling debt wouldn't have been smart. But Trevor's legal gambling debts? Those didn't disappear. He filed for Chapter 7 bankruptcy in April 2026. Lost his car, lost his credit. Lives in a studio apartment now. Works at a car dealership. Sales. Emily told me he's trying to rebuild. Attending Gamblers Anonymous meetings. Seeing a therapist. Whoa. I hope it's true. But I don't ask about him. In May, I started seeing someone. Her name is Ruth. She's 68. Widow. Lost her husband to a heart attack in 2022. We met at the church grief support group. She's kind. Patient. Doesn't ask me to explain my family situation. We go to dinner once a week. She likes Italian food. I like that she laughs at my bad jokes. It's not serious. Not yet. But it's nice to have companionship again. Janet would have liked her. June 2026, Father's Day. I got 2 cards in the mail, one from Caleb, hand-drawn, a picture of us working in the garage. Happy Father's Day, Grandpa. Love you. One from Dylan, store-bought. He'd written inside, "You're the best. Thanks for teaching me to weld." I put them on my refrigerator. No card from Trevor or Allison. I didn't expect one. July. I drove to Colorado with Ron, my fishing buddy. Same trip we take every year. We stayed in the same cabin, fished the same river, caught a 19-inch trout on the second day. Ron asked me once over beers on the porch, "You ever think about forgiving them?" I thought about it for a long time. "I don't know," I said finally. "Maybe one day, but not today." Fair enough. We drank our beers, watched the sun set over the mountains. August. The first trust distribution checks were sent out. The Veterans Affairs Support Fund sent me a thank you letter. Told me the $1.2 million would help 340 veterans over the next 5 years. Legal aid, housing assistance, mental health services. The American Cancer Society sent a plaque. In memory of Janet Brennan, with gratitude. I hung it in my living room. September. I got an email from someone I didn't know. Subject line, "Thank you." The email said, "Mr. Brennan, my name is Angela Morrison. I read about your story in the Dallas Morning Herald. I'm 73 years old, and my son and daughter-in-law were trying to do the same thing to me. They'd already contacted a nursing home, forged a POA. I saw your story. Called a lawyer, set up a trust. 2 weeks ago, they tried to move forward with their plan. I activated the trust, just like you. I wanted you to know. Your story saved me. Thank you." Angela, I read that email 5 times. Then I forwarded it to Gerald. He replied, "This is why we do the work, Larry." October. Caleb's 12th birthday. Emily threw a party at her house, invited me. Trevor wasn't there. Caleb blew out the candles on his cake, made a wish. I asked him later, "What'd you wish for?" He smiled. "Can't tell you. It won't come true." But Dylan whispered to me when Caleb wasn't listening. He wished we could all be a family again. My heart broke a little. November 2026, 1 year since the airport. I drove back to DFW, stood at gate B-22, watched people board planes, families saying goodbye, business travelers rushing to make connections. Grace Holloway, the flight attendant who'd saved me, walked by, saw me, stopped. "Mr. Brennan?" "Grace, hi." She hugged me. "How are you?" "I'm okay, better than I was." "Good. You deserve peace." "So do you. Thank you for what you did." She smiled. "I couldn't save my mother, but I could save you. That's enough." She had to board her flight. We said goodbye. I stayed for a few more minutes, watching planes take off. Then I drove home. What did I lose? My relationship with my adult children, maybe forever. Family holiday traditions, the hope that they'd change. What did I keep? My dignity, my autonomy, my home, my relationship with my grandkids, my self-respect. People ask me if I regret it. Regret what? Defending myself? They made the choice when they forged my name. I just refused to subsidize it. So here's what I want you to understand. If someone shows you who they are, believe them. Trevor and Allison showed me they valued money more than my freedom, more than my dignity, more than our relationship. I believed them. This isn't about being unforgiving. It's about accepting reality. They didn't stop because they felt guilty. They stopped because I had proof, because I had leverage, because I'd spent 25 years preparing for something I hoped would never happen. That trust card saved my life. It cost $3,000 in legal fees in 1999. Best money I ever spent. If you're watching this and you're in your 60s, 70s, 80s, listen to me. Document everything. Create legal protections now, not when you need them. Now. Irrevocable trust with a coercion clause. Durable power of attorney with someone you trust. Not family, if there's any doubt. Regular check-ins with a neutral third party. An attorney. An accountant. A friend outside the family. If your kids are trustworthy, great. The protections sit there unused. No harm done. If they're not, you'll be glad you prepared. People tell me I'm bitter, cold, unforgiving. I'm not. I loved Trevor and Allison. I still do. But love doesn't mean letting someone destroy you. I gave them everything. College education, debt-free, down payment help, business advice, emotional support through divorces, career changes, every crisis they faced. And when I needed them to just let me be, to let me live independently with dignity, they chose to betray me instead. That's on them, not me. Here's the thing about family. We're taught that family is everything. Blood is thicker than water. You never give up on family, but sometimes family gives up on you first. And when that happens, you have two choices. Let them take everything, or protect yourself. I chose protection. Will I ever reconcile with Trevor and Allison? I don't know. Maybe. If they do the work, real work, therapy, accountability, years of proving they've changed. But it'll be on my terms. Terms where I'm treated as an equal. Not a resource, not a burden, not an obstacle. A human being, their father. Someone who deserves respect. If they can't meet that bar, then we stay where we are. And I'm okay with that. Getting older doesn't make you incompetent. It makes you experienced. I built a multi-million-dollar business from nothing. Paid my taxes, raised 2 kids, served my country, buried my wife, rebuilt my life. But at 71, suddenly I'm confused because I don't text fast enough? Because I burned chili once? That's not decline, that's ageism, and I refuse to accept it. Grace Holloway, the flight attendant who warned me, she risked her job to tell me the truth. She didn't know me, had no reason to care, but she'd seen this happen to her mother, and she couldn't stay silent. A stranger showed me more loyalty in 90 seconds than my own children did in 40 years. That's the part that still keeps me up at night. Emily, Trevor's ex-wife, she gave me the evidence that saved me. Why? Because I'd paid off her student loans as a wedding gift in 2009, $32,000. I didn't think twice about it. She was family, and when Trevor betrayed me, she remembered that kindness, gave me the proof I needed. Sometimes the people who aren't blood are the ones who act like family. My grandkids, Caleb and Dylan, they didn't choose this. They lost access to their father because of his choices. They lost family gatherings, a normal relationship with their grandparents on their dad's side, but I'm making sure they know they're loved, that they're safe, that their grandfather isn't going anywhere. We build bookshelves, weld small projects, talk about school, sports, life. I can't replace their dad, but I can be steady, present, reliable, and that's what I'm doing. Last week, Dylan asked me a question. Grandpa, are you sad? I thought about it. Sometimes, yeah, I'm sad things turned out this way. Do you miss Dad? I miss who I thought he was. Dylan nodded, processing. Then he said, I'm glad you're still here. Me too, buddy. Me too. People ask what advice I'd give to others in this situation. Here's what I say. Trust your gut. If something feels wrong, it probably is. Document everything: emails, texts, conversations, dates, times, witnesses. Build legal protections before you need them. Trusts, POAs, clear beneficiary designations. Find allies outside the family: lawyers, accountants, friends who aren't emotionally invested. Don't be afraid to set boundaries, even with family, especially with family. And if it comes down to a choice between your autonomy and their approval, choose autonomy every time. I got off that plane because a stranger cared more about my freedom than my own children did. I stayed off because I'd spent 27 years preparing for the worst. Turns out, preparation isn't paranoia, it's self-respect. If you've dealt with family manipulation, elder dismissal, or being underestimated, drop a comment. You're not alone. And if you're planning your own protections, do it now, not when you need it. Subscribe if this story helped you. Let me know where you're watching from. It's November 18th, 2026. 1 year to the day since I got off that plane. I'm sitting in my living room, the same house Janet and I bought in 1987, the same kitchen where I taught my kids to make scrambled eggs, the same garage where I'm teaching my grandkids to build things with their hands. This is my home, and no one, not my children, not anyone, will ever take it from me again. I'm Lawrence Brennan. I'm 71 years old. I'm a Marine Corps veteran, a widower, a grandfather, and I'm still here.